By the way, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm.
The Rees Company.
Well, crack open a tepid Genesee and watch the pictures as they travel through your neighbor's Wi-Fi. It's the Rees Company. I'm Steve Rees, the bull of American broadcasting, alongside the great Chris Morganti. How are you, Chris?
I'm great.
Feeling good about tonight?
I have no idea what's in store. I've done no preparation. You told me you'd take care of it, so I'm just here to see what goes on.
Well, I'm very excited because this time we're going to do something we haven't done in a while.
Oh, be entertaining? have viewers?
Oh, that will be pointed out. We're going to do something I've always enjoyed doing, and we haven't done it in a while. We have some Ralph Williams clips we're going to share with the folks.
Ah, yes.
And if you don't know who that is, we'll catch you up in just a bit. But first, I want to talk about our previous episode.
Okay. Which one was that?
That's where we discussed something called the Dabbleverse.
Okay.
Now, in your words, Chris, how would you, having all the knowledge I imparted to you last week, how would you describe the Dabbleverse?
Apparently, it's a group of broadcast podcasts that insult Stuttering John and do so. Do they all do it anonymously or just the one we watched?
No, not all of them.
Okay.
Shuley does it as Shuley.
Ah, well.
Yeah, it is. It's a somewhat interlaced group of podcasts, and they've dedicated themselves to covering the life, activities, and behaviors of Stuttering John Melendez from the Howard Stern Show back in the day.
Well, formerly of the Howard Stern Show.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we focused on one particular dabbler, as those folks are known.
Okay.
He goes by the name Cardiff Electric and appears on camera as a floating potato.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't regard that highly.
Okay. Yes, I don't disagree with that assessment.
You're not a fan of people, as you say, hiding behind avatars.
Well, at the time, I more had a problem with the aesthetic of it, but yeah, I mean, I would wonder what your motives are for attacking someone anonymously. But
well, I think in the culture of doxing, it's very important to protect one's identity. We don't have that luxury because we've been around for too long.
Right.
So,
yes, but I mean, if we were to go as inanimate objects with moving mouths, people would recognize our voices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's another problem.
Right.
Well, Cardiff Electric, the floating potato, we kind of focused on him because he's my favorite in the Dabbleverse.
Okay.
He's someone whose work I greatly respect and am wildly entertained by. And so last night, Cardiff did a Tukey soup / potato soup crossover episode. And Tukey, he's the green puppet in the top left we're going to see, he contemplated the expansion of the Dabbleverse, and Cardiff had this to say.
Do new people find these videos? They know what's going on?
I don't know. Like, well, we are. I did see a couple, maybe a week or two ago, some other show that started talking about us.
Really?
Like they were. Yeah, it was.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was just something. It was like nobody's watching, like most shows, but it was just still like it was a new. Some people I've never heard of talking about us. It was interesting. Where we'll become. Again, 25, 30 years from now, we're going to be fucked with relentlessly. People will be calling us in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tukey, you want some more non-alcoholic beer?
And then you'll be yelling on your show that I was Tukey. I had upwards of 1,000 members on YouTube once. And
what do you got? I don't drink beer. Come back when it's Taco Bell.
Tukey's Nana, thank you for the $2. Dead? Question.
You know, Vince.
Yeah.
You know.
So now a show I've never heard of is talking about me. So things have really come full circle, I guess.
What they were talking about toward the end there was all the pranks that are currently being played on Stuttering John as he does his live stream.
No, I have to point something else.
Deliveries show up at his door.
Oh, people order stuff for him that he doesn't want?
Yes.
Okay. Now I have to point something else out here, Steve. This green person was not involved the last time you showed me this.
Right.
It was only the potato and the tomato.
Orange.
Looks like a tomato. this third character you've now introduced me to, not only is it a talking inanimate object, but it's doing a voice that is hard for me to understand. I'm very far from the monitor. Maybe that's the issue, but I'm having trouble understanding what he's even saying. So
Okay.
I don't get it.
Well, the point I believe Cardiff was making was that eventually we all become Stuttering John.
Is he doing a Patrick Mahomes impression? Is that what's happening?
How so?
You ever heard him speak?
Oh, no.
It's jarring. I mean, I've watched him play for years. I never heard him speak until recently. He sounds like the Cookie Monster.
Well, yeah, Cardiff had a very philosophical reaction to episode 80 of The Rees Company. Now, if there's anyone who might have a less existential reaction to us talking about him, it's definitely Ralph Williams.
Well, much like the vast majority of the world, he has us on his pay no mind list. So,
Yes. Now, for the new viewers, Chris, how best would you characterize Ralph Williams?
Ralph Williams is self-described as the forgotten son of Pittsburgh. Am I getting that right?
Correct, yeah.
He's a sports announcer who has floated around cable access television, the podcasting world. He seems to have ingratiated himself, I use that term loosely, into the local Pittsburgh sports scene, and then immediately disingratiates himself, if that's a term.
Yes, he burns every bridge,
Immediately.
usually over having to pay for food.
Yeah, it's usually about the food. He's a very heavy man.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He likes to eat.
Yeah, so he does
See, he
several
likes
shows.
to eat so much, it's almost cost him his ability to walk.
Yes. He does several
And that's
shows.
when I say, I've had enough. That's my breaking point. That's just me.
That's where you draw the line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may not be able to walk out of this restaurant. I'm going to pass on dessert.
Well, he does several shows on YouTube and a brokered sports program on community radio. And by brokered, I mean he pays for the airtime and sells his own live reads. Now, we've documented his difficulty in lining up his desired sponsor, namely Permane Brothers, the sandwich chain.
Yeah, they wanted nothing to... Well, no, that's not true. They didn't want nothing to do with him.
They wanted to see numbers,
Yeah,
and his show hadn't begun yet.
right.
So he took that as them asking too much of him.
Yeah, he took that as a grave insult, and it's a very reasonable request.
Well, other sponsors have stepped up. So let's hear Ralph plug a local tribute band on one of his YouTube shows, which is now called The Way We See It. We'll explain that after this, Chris. But Ralph is the one on the left.
All right, let's talk about Bon Journey, one of the best Bon Jovi Journey tribute bands in Western Pennsylvania, the best.
All right.
All right,
Wait, all right, you got to stop already. I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Can we please recap what was just said?
Okay, I think I can summarize. I don't think I can do it verbatim.
Jim, can you just hop back a few seconds so we can hear it again?
Okay.
I need to hear this twice.
You're right.
You know, so
I forgot about that. Yeah, they got
it's
big
all,
voters.
that's all another animal for another show. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Sad.
right, let's talk about Bon Journey, one of the best Bon Jovi Journey tribute bands in Western Pennsylvania, the best. All right,
right. Wait, now, is it possible that there's more than one Bon Jovi and Journey tribute band in Western Pennsylvania? I don't doubt that they're the best. I question that there is a second best band. A Bon Jovi Journey tribute band.
Yes.
Okay. And is who is he talking about? Is it that guy who this is the worst camera
Saturday
angle ever shot?
Yeah, the guy who looks like he's urinating?
Yeah.
What
it's
about
a
him?
urinal cam.
Yeah, what about him?
That's the lead singer or a member of the Bon Jovi Journey tribute band or no?
He is not.
Okay.
This is a live read that Ralph's doing for Bon Journey on Ralph's show and this guy's show.
Oh, this is a commercial. Okay.
He's the new co-host.
I mean, I like the name Bon Journey, but most people would be like, what? I don't. Do those audiences intersect? I guess they kind of do.
Yeah, they definitely do.
All right.
December 16th, they will be at the Big Bar up in Erie. The Big Bar.
Big one.
Not the small bar. The big
Not the
bar.
medium, but the big
Not
one.
the medium, but the Big Bar. Yeah. in Erie, Pennsylvania, and December 22nd. How about this for a Christmas gift? Why don't you take your other half and go to Jurgles on Brush Creek Road in Warrendale and see on the 22nd?
Well, you
Bond-
know what? Well, I tell you what, my brother, I catch me a girl.
Rob plays bass there for that.
Hey,
beer.
listen, I catch me a girlfriend before the holidays. I'll be going up to check them out. How's
There you
that?
go. Go check them out at Jurgles.
Yeah.
Now, Steve,
But let
when
me
he
tell
said
you this.
take your other half, did he mean the half that's hanging off the rascal scooter?
Oh man. So the guy Ralph is talking to, the guy, as you said, he looks like he's standing at a urinal cam. His name is Bill Cannata, and he's Ralph's new co-host on formerly The Way I See It, now The Way We See It.
Wait, he had a co-host?
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the other guy.
Well, every time I've seen the show, there was just Ralph.
Yes.
Okay,
This is a new development, or a recent one.
I thought you said former co-host.
Perhaps I did. If I did, it was an error.
Okay, so he's now the co-host.
Yes.
Got it. All right. I haven't watched it in a few months, so
You know who those guys are together?
Well, you know-
Ralph and Bill Cannata?
I no.
DJ Fun.
Gotcha.
Ralph runs a DJ service. If you have an event and you want someone to show up and play records,
Yep.
as long as it's wheelchair accessible,
Yeah.
he'd be glad to do your event. Or maybe he'll just send Bill.
Yeah. Either way, you better increase that catering order.
Yes, sir. He won't be shy about blasting you on his podcast. A bit off topic, Chris, but in my opinion, Bon Jovi and Journey, they're the two least deserving Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees.
I couldn't comment on that. I would say anyone who's not actually playing rock and roll would be undeserving, but I don't know what they're going for over there. I've never been there. Have you been there?
I have.
Okay.
And one of the stated criteria is influence. You have to have had an influence on the musicians who came after you. So a lot of people would say, well, Dolly Parton and Eminem they're not really rock and roll, but they definitely influenced rock and roll in some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Bon Jovi and Journey didn't influence anybody. I can't name one band who has cited either of those bands as an influence.
Yeah, fair enough.
The only people they've influenced are people in bands like Bon Journey.
Sure.
Not good enough. Not Hall of Fame worthy as far as the Bulls concerned.
Well, I mean, is the only criteria influence, though? Because Journey had a lot of hits.
Yeah, they had a lot of hits, but having a lot of hits is not one.
That's not one of the criteria.
You just have to have been influential.
Weird.
Not weird at all.
I mean, they're just trying to draw people through the door, though. Whoever they need to put in there to get people to show up, whatever.
All right. So as Ralph said, Bon Journey will be appearing at a place called Gerbils.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he said Big Bar.
Oh no, that's one place. But now he's moved on to talking about their gig at a place called Gerbils.
Gotcha. Well, that's a great name for a bar.
Well, let's hear Ralph put over that venue.
You know what? Well, I tell you what, my brother, I catch me a girl.
Rob plays bass there for that.
Hey,
beer.
listen, I catch me a girlfriend before the holidays. I'll be going up to check them out. How's
There you
that?
go. Go check them out at Jurgles. But let me tell you this, okay? And I tell everybody this all the time when
It's
I
a
talk
pain.
about Bon Journey.
It's a pain.
Okay, you got to get there super early to get
Yep.
a table.
Yeah.
Do not go there late because you will be sorry. You'll have to stand.
Yep, I
Okay.
know what you mean.
And I went there for Charlie Daniels, and I went there several times to see Bon Journey. And I tell you what, it was a mess. And I'm in a wheelchair. I can't stand. Try to look over people's heads. It's terrible. And if you're not there and you don't have a table, forget it. Okay, because everybody stands and lines up there. So it's first come, first serve. What they call it, general admission or whatever. But you can, if you get there super early, you can get a table. And, if you get a table, you buy an appetizer or a drink and just sit there at the table and watch the show the rest of the night. But
I mean,
please, I
Jurgles.
advise you, if you're going to Jurgles for any show, please make sure you
Yeah,
are aware that you'll have to stand.
yeah,
Okay?
it sucks.
Whatever.
The space up there is very, very limited, folks. For
Right,
serious.
it is. It is. It's good space.
It's
I mean,
good- yeah,
if you can get the right spot, it's a good place to watch a show.
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's
know.
very nice atmosphere.
Yeah, you know what? On second thought, folks, just stay home. Don't even bother. Yeah, that's one of
if I
Ralph's-
ever go to a place called Gerbils, I'm pretty sure I want to be standing the whole time, if you know what I mean. You don't know what I mean. But
Well,
whatever.
here's the deal, Chris. That's one of Ralph's problems because he needs to sit at a table. He assumes that's everyone's concern.
Yeah. Most people understand at a concert you may be standing up.
Yeah.
Even if you have a seat, there may be times where you have to stand up
Yeah.
because everyone else is.
Right, but he can't see through eyes other than his own.
Right.
So we're about to see another example of that. But first, let's acknowledge, as we have, that Ralph is a man of size.
Yeah, we've already pointed it out.
We have, and that's worth pointing
Incountable
out.
times.
It's worth pointing out because his appetite often affects his interpretation of the news.
Okay.
Some time ago, Ralph was talking about a robbery that took place in Pittsburgh, and some folks, they held a pizza delivery guy at gunpoint, and according to Ralph, stole his pizza. Now, it didn't take much for us to track down the actual story.
Right.
And we learned that the gunman took his wallet, shoes, and I think maybe even his car.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember, but no mention of pizza. But in Ralph's mind, pizza is what they must have been after.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Ralph has gone and done this again. And here, he Ralph's all over this news item about a fatal incident at a fast food restaurant.
Bill. All right. The man a year ago who shot and killed an employee and injured another at a Subway because he didn't get mayonnaise on his sandwich. He didn't get mayonnaise on his sandwich.
Yeah. Now, you can probably imagine how Ralph got this one wrong.
Well, I don't have to imagine because we actually just covered this same story, news story last week on our show.
Yeah.
He got too much mayonnaise was the problem.
Yeah, I think we have the headline.
Much like the Nick Kroll skit, too much mayonnaise was the problem.
Yeah.
Not no mayonnaise.
Here we have a Subway customer accused of killing employee over too much mayo on his sandwich, denied bond.
Now, Steve, when we covered this story, we had a whole Saturday Night Live type of comedy skit that we did along with it. But you know what? Why did we do that when we could have just played the sound effect that he did? That's much funnier.
Okay, well, yeah, see.
Oh, I know why it is. Because unlike him, we can get up out of our chairs and perform standing up, like people do. You know what? That was cruel. There's lots of people with real afflictions. And, I'm sorry. That was uncalled for on my part, and I apologize.
He does have a real affliction, I believe.
No, he doesn't. He just likes to eat too much.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and he does have another problem. He just can't get his head around anyone complaining about getting too much of something.
Yeah.
And let's say it did happen the way Ralph says. The shooter complained about not getting any mayonnaise. Ralph making that crybaby noise is a little hypocritical because last year at Ribfest, he quite famously made a lot of noise about receiving what he called a baby portion of macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And I'll bet if Ralph had been carrying, people would have paid with their lives.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have our own, as you mentioned, we have our own idea of how this incident at Subway probably occurred. Let's take a look.
I have a turkey hoagie for a Mr. Melvin Williams.
Yeah, that's me.
You want mayonnaise on that?
I think just a little bit, yeah.
You don't know what you want, do you?
Excuse me?
I'm going to give you all the mayonnaise you can handle. More than you can handle.
I would just like a reasonable amount of mayonnaise, please. Andrea.
Oh no, it's Andre. That's a typo.
Okay, whatever.
No. Say my name. Say, Andre, I want you to give me more mayonnaise.
I would actually like less mayonnaise.
Look at you. Just taking all this mayonnaise.
I don't want more mayonnaise. Please stop.
Sometimes I put the mayo real deep in the sandwich. Sometimes I just use the tip.
I have a gun. Folks, this is making me really uncomfortable, and I have a gun.
I'm gonna break this sandwich in half with all of this mayonnaise.
All right, I have one more piece of Ralph business.
Great.
Like most cities, Pittsburgh has a sizable homeless population.
Okay.
And they're looking at ways to deal with this in a humane way. And the council,
a modest proposal,
if you will,
by Ralph Williams.
the council wants to set up a few city-sanctioned encampments.
See, now that's a clever joke. See, I recovered from my thoughtless insult.
You're fine. You were fine.
That was a clever joke for our learned listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they want to set up these encampments, like city-sanctioned encampments for those without homes.
Sure.
And, well, Ralph has another way to deal with this issue. And, of course, he's got it all wrong.
Problems. Now, I have no problem with this. Okay? But there's three places I want it to be kept away from. Downtown, South Side, and North Side.
Absolutely.
The biggest places where people congregate, people are going to go shopping, people are going to have parties, people are going to go to bars and clubs. I do not want to see these people.
Absolutely.
Put them somewhere where they're not bothering
Can we pause?
anybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
Is Bill now using the other receptacle?
You lost me, man.
That's all right.
Feed them their food, give them their porta potty, give them their shower, give them whatever they're going to do. You know, you know what, Bill, I'm going to say this, and then I'll get your opinion real quick.
Fix the camera.
Because I'm so angry about this right now. Okay, I'm going to blame the people out here. You did it. You voted these people in. You voted these progressives in here, and look at where we are now. It's going to only cost $50,000. I say you spend nothing. And if you're going to spend it, why have them out in camps? The Pittsburgh public schools have vacant buildings. Why can't we rent them or give them a tax break on the building and use the buildings for homeless people or affordable housing? Why are we doing this? Okay, I just don't get this.
All right. So Ralph asked the question, why won't they use abandoned public schools to house the homeless? And I immediately had a hunch, Chris, as to why that might be the case.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. So, and you can do this at home and see what I mean. I simply Googled Pittsburgh public schools asbestos.
Oh.
And within seconds, Chris, I had confirmation that there's a really good reason why those buildings are abandoned to begin with. Not something Ralph couldn't have found out on his own.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to admit, Steve, that was a good deduction of logic you made there. And Ralph isn't going to do that.
But if you're going to...
I didn't immediately think of asbestos.
If you're going to be so passionate about your stance on the issue, you should do your homework.
Sure. Yeah. Also, he claims to be in the know about everything going on in Pittsburgh.
Right.
They're shutting down schools for asbestos, and you weren't aware of it?
Well, they've been shut down for years. I would think you would have heard it at the time.
Sure.
So what do you think of the new format, Chris?
What's this? Oh,
the two-handed co-hosting format, the way we see it.
I'll tell you, when I first discovered Ralph Williams, and I don't know if you were aware of him at the time or not, it was when he was hosting his, was it early 90s or late 80s?
I think it was close to 2000.
Late 90s then. I think it was late 90s.
Yeah.
He was hosting his first cable access sports program. He had a co-host who we loved as much as we loved Ralph. The only reason we focused on Ralph is because his co-host has disappeared into the ether. He gave up on his dreams of show business after, a not so auspicious beginning, I guess. But we love both those guys. So if there's going to be two of these guys, especially if he intends to shoot himself like this the entire time, I'm all for this. And I 2 thumbs up on this side.
All right. Well, I don't know, Chris.
You're not sure about it.
Well, I kind of prefer Ralph on his own because with Bill, Ralph has dropped the my favorite segment of the way I see it, and that is life stories. Because we got so much out of that. He would tell an ordinary slice of life tale, but it would quickly evolve into a complaint about not getting enough food
Yeah.
or not getting food fast enough, no matter the subject he started out discussing.
Yeah.
It was unavoidable and unbelievable. And this to me, this Bill Cannata, Ralph Williams combination, this is more like, you ever go to a McDonald's early in the morning, like around 7?
Sadly, yes.
And there's a table, a couple of old guys,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
only drinking coffee.
Yeah.
And just kind of spattering off.
This is why never retire. That'll end up being you if you retire. Just stay on your job as long as they'll let you stay there, and then go do something else.
Right.
You don't want to be the dude hanging out at a McDonald's with some guys that you met at McDonald's.
And then you go again the next day, Chris, but hours later than you did the day before, and they're there. They're there again. Doing the same thing, just spouting loud opinions that make no sense. These guys have decided to record it and put it on YouTube. But that's all this is. This is a table at McDonald's of lonely retirees.
Please tell me this isn't going to be us in 20 years.
Well, I think Cardiff said what's in store for all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
We're all going to get pranked at some point.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on Ralph Williams and the way we see it. So if you enjoyed this discussion, why not subscribe to be notified whenever a new episode is available?
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would
honestly,
like to know.
Could you tell us why?
Yes, that would help us tremendously.
Yeah.
But we also know none of you are here anymore.
You know,
You're all gone. You left by 3 minutes in.
You know, we did have a 50th subscriber competition, and we offered to give them a DVD.
Yes.
That DVD is still at my house. And I saw that girl not 3 weeks ago, and I wish I'd kept it in my car. I could have handed it to her. So maybe our failure to follow through. I think we also offered T-shirts at some point. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it's our fault.
if you have stuck around and you do enjoy this, our previous coverage of Ralph is also in our archive on our YouTube channel. Check out all of our videos. Easily found and easily enjoyed, as our friend Karen from Philly says. Anything we didn't talk about, Chris?
And we also have that skit that we showed of us. We also have a longer video of that where we introduce the subject in a way that, well, you're not information that you're not going to get by listening to Ralph Williams. So you should also check that out.
Yeah. Additional content, or as I say, addition.
Okay. I don't think that's going to catch on.
Anything you want to mention before we leave?
It's what is it, December 22nd?
Well, to us, but not to anybody
well,
watching.
I'm saying
it's
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Okay, Merry
It's
Christmas.
that time of year. And happy holidays and happy Hanukkah to all our Jewish friends. And Jim, you're shooting, he may not want that, but happy Kwanzaa to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to make people wonder what he's shooting.
Yeah, you know, that was an odd way to leave that, wasn't it? All right, for everyone,
Oh, boy.
this is the Reese Company. Oski wee wee.
Husky Wawa. Holy
Holy
Mackinac.
Mackinac.
Tigers. Eat 'em
Eat 'em
raw.
raw.
We did it.